it's your turn to
Oh, is it for me?
consider yourself fired.
Why are you winking at me?
Consider yourself fired.
Hello, and welcome to the JT and Drew Show. I'm JT,
And I'm Drew.
and we're two nobodies talking about nothing.
Consider yourself fired.
Well, welcome back, bud.
Yeah, thanks for having me back.
Of course, you know, your name's on the billboard, so I
Billboard.
can't lock the door. Yeah.
That's what
we
I'm
didn't
talking
tell you?
about. No, they didn't
Yeah,
tell
we-
me anything.
Yeah, man, we got a billboard in South America.
Oh, okay. I was about to ask, how can we afford that? But that makes more sense now.
No, I'm just kidding. We don't have no billboard in South America. I wish we did.
But we're on computers in South America.
We sure are. And we're in computers in Europe.
JT and Drew Show worldwide.
What?
What?
This is crazy.
That's what I'm talking about, Mike.
So, all right, man. I know this is going to be quick, but we've got to get into it. POTUS is at it again.
What are we talking about?
Well, okay. So, it's come in the news here lately that Mr. Dr. Joseph Biden has gotten his second round of COVID.
Okay, now, I know what you're talking about, because I've heard that as well.
What, the Mr. Doctor?
Joe Biden's husband.
Yeah.
But what kind of confused me at first, anyway, first hearing of this COVID round 2, was the fact that some people were saying, hey, he's got COVID for the second time. And then other people are saying, no. This is just a rebound. People that are on that certain medication, that Paxlovid, when they take that to help them with COVID, sometimes shortly after they get the symptoms again. So it's not really like a second COVID. It's still kind of lingering.
So it's the aftermath.
Yeah, which
But so
I can see
well,
both
wait a minute.
sides, but then... Oh, go ahead.
So, but with the medication, you're not supposed to pop positive for COVID again, but he has popped positive for COVID again, doing the brain tickling thing.
Yeah, well, they're saying that, according to the Washington Post, they're saying that rebound cases are when someone experiences symptoms or tests positive after completing the course of the medication and testing negative, and that they've been described as rare, but some medical experts are saying that they may be more common than previously thought.
Really?
Yeah.
So
you test negative, but then you pop positive again after that. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me, but yeah. And apparently, real quick, the CDC is only like their guidelines. Hey, you test positive, you quarantine, you self-isolate for 5 days, take your meds, whatever. And then after your 5 days, no symptoms, you're cleared. You don't have to take another test and become negative. They were saying in the same article that, Biden's been going above and beyond by taking tests frequently, and then after the 5 days, test again to see if he's positive or negative. Like, they're doing all these extra measures to make sure that the people around him are safe.
right. But so that being said, and I'll get back to what I was going to say earlier. That being said, the people around you, if you pop positive, and everybody's got all their 15 bazillion vaccines and boosters and whatever, does that mean that they have to quarantine as well, at least for a certain amount of day? What does the CDC say?
I don't know about the close contact stuff. I know that his doctor, the presidential doctor, O'Connor, was initially saying, I guess this would have been a day, 2 days ago, whenever, initially saying that Biden was asymptomatic. He continues to feel quite well. However, he's still going to do the isolation in accordance with the CDC guidelines.
So
But
are they
then
going
I
to
read-
isolate him again?
Yeah, they're going to isolate him again. And he had mentioned, Biden had mentioned, hey, I'm still working. I'm isolating, but I'm still at work. I'm still doing all the things. I'm still going strong. Not feeling bad. Nothing. No fever. Nothing. However, today I read an article saying that he actually got his lingering cough back, but he still feels fine. No fever again. No other crazy symptoms at this point. Just his cough has come back, so no longer asymptomatic. Right, the symptoms are coming back.
Okay. So I forgot what I was going to say earlier, but so according to the CDC, now this is as of, whenever we're recording this, if you've had your vaccine and your boosters and your utmost whatever, you do not have to quarantine if you do not have any symptoms.
Okay.
If you're like, you've got the whole package deal.
Right. Okay,
So,
well, that makes sense then.
And it makes sense why Mrs. Biden went out on whatever political tour that she went the first time he caught COVID.
Right.
So it makes no sense. I mean, for you say this all the time. It's rules for thee, not for me.
Of course, it's all crud. The word just dropped out of my noodle. It's all convenience.
Oh yeah. If
But-
you get COVID,
Yeah.
I'll have to quarantine. But if the boss gets COVID, then the missus doesn't have to.
So
But
apparently,
you and I are.
Oh well, yeah, we're just commoners, man. We need to ask the big government and ask them what's best for us, because we don't know what's good for ourselves, and we need to listen.
You don't
But-
know nothing about yourself. The government knows you more than you do.
Well, I mean, look at the old Renaissance days, right? Before that, whatever, I don't know what the time period's called. Kings and queens ruling the land. I mean, you bow down to them. They know what's best, even though they don't really know what's going on either. And you just shut up and do what you're told.
Yeah, well,
Because their position dictates that they have the knowledge, they have the wealth, they have the power, they have all the things that you don't. So you just need to listen to them because they're all knowing. Bow down.
yeah. Shut up, peasant.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what's good for you.
Mm-hmm. So they're saying
not
that
to
this
be negative. Oh, okay, go ahead.
They're
You're
saying that
what?
this Paxlovid medicine is an antiviral drug. It's actually made by none other than, drumroll please, Pfizer.
Ooh.
Yep. And it's used to treat moderate COVID-19. It's available to Americans 12 and older who have tested positive and are higher risk of having severe illness from COVID. So they say that between 5 and 8% of people end up, I guess, having that rebound after the Paxlovid treatment.
I bet you it's going to be higher than that.
Yeah, I think that's only the 5 to 8, and the article talked about that 5 to 8% are only the people that are reporting. There are people that, hey, I did my round of medication, I feel better, I'm going back to work, I'm not testing again, I'm living life.
Mm-hmm.
So for all those people that aren't testing again, that maybe would have possibly tested positive again, that 5 to 8 would be much larger.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, anyways, that's just very interesting. I mean, I hope the best, speedy recovery, all that good stuff. I just wish the politics and the semantics and the what's good for you isn't good for me and all this stuff would stay out of it. Just do what you need to do for your health.
Right. Don't worry about me.
Yep.
Yeah. But, it just seems that everybody wants to get into your cookie jar right now.
Yep. That
So-
is the truth. And I don't have a lot of cookies left, so stay out.
Oh, yeah. My field of cookies are barren.
Come here, peasant. I need your cookies.
Yeah. So, in other news, have you heard this? And this is going to be very interesting, and I think we can dive a little, deeper into whatnot. But you heard that the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, is going on a field trip in Asia.
She's going on a trip on our favorite rocket ship. I don't know the rest of the words.
I don't. Yeah, something about Jumanji.
Oh, I've seen that movie.
Which one?
Both of them. The original Jumanji, and then the remake that's recent.
Yeah, you're behind the times. There's another one added on to the remake.
There's a third one?
Oh, yeah.
Wait, was there a Jumanji 2?
Yeah, not with Robin Williams, but...
Too soon, bud, too soon.
Sorry. But, no, yeah, with The Rock and Kevin Hart and all them.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I saw that one.
Yeah, the second version of that had Aquafina in it. She's one of my favorite comedians.
Oh, yes. I saw that was with
Danny DeVito.
Yeah, Danny DeVito. Wasn't Jack Black in that?
Jack Black was in the first one, too.
Oh. Okay. Well, I saw the one with Aquafina in it for sure. Because I think she's hilarious.
Yeah, she's great. I like her. So, back on topic, though.
Yeah.
Nancy Pelosi is taking a field trip in Southeast Asia. And she is going to none other than Taiwan.
Taiwan.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been, they've been talking about that for a little while now. The possibility of it. I heard Biden's administration warned against her going there, and then they kind of backtracked and said, well, they didn't warn her not to go. The military just, like the intelligence community, just briefed her on some of the, what do you call it? Like
girly boys?
The things going on there and what to stay away from and all that kind of stuff, and the downtown girly boys, lady mans. But so they're kind of, oh, well, we didn't mean this. This is what they meant when they said that.
Right. Yeah. So my question is, and of course I'm still new to this whole politic thing, but what does the Speaker of the House have to do with anything about going overseas?
Dude, I don't know. I tried looking into that real quick, and I mean just a couple minutes. I didn't do any deep diving. But I mean, she's number 3 in line, right? You've got the president, the vice president, and then the Speaker of the House. She's number 3 in line. She, from my understanding, the intent was, hey, she's going to go. She's going to kind of reinforce America's support, or the United States' support for Taiwan and their ongoings, and strengthen the relationship, that kind of thing. But what's kind of weird about it is it's kind of dicey territory, right? Have you ever been or remember like when you were in middle school or junior high, high school, and you had friends, hopefully, that, I had friends. Should have used someone else as an example. But you have friends that, hey, I'm friends with Drew, but Johnny's not friends with Drew, but I'm also friends with Johnny. Well, so I can hang out with Johnny and I can hang out with Drew, but I can't hang out with them together. Mm-hmm. And I don't really want them to know that I'm friends with the other one. I think it's kind of like that.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I never had friends like that.
It's kind of an unspoken, hey, we're friends with Taiwan, but China, we're not friends with Taiwan. We're just, they waved at us, so we're going to wave back politely. Don't worry. And then it's like, hey, Taiwan, no, we're not friends with China. Oh, yeah, get away. But it's, again, just real dicey territory because everyone's talking about this idea that China has, the one China policy, which basically is recognizing China as its own government, right? The People's Republic of China. However, the caveat is that it's not necessarily recognizing their claim to Taiwan being a part of them.
Because Taiwan is not a part of China.
But in China's eyes, Taiwan is extended family. They are part of them.
Well, you want one hand and do something in the other and see which one fills out faster. But
so China has condemned this visit, and they're saying, hey, this visit is going to be considered a threat to peace and stability. And it could risk pushing U.S.-Chinese relations even lower than they already are.
Well, definitely it will. But I don't know. I mean, what's your thoughts on it? Because is Taiwan its own country, or is it an extension of China?
I think it's not an extension of China. However, as a country, United States of America, everything has to be done deliberately and strategically. Right? Again, that friendship scenario, if JT is, hey, Johnny, you're my best friend, but Drew gets invited to the birthday party and Johnny doesn't that kind of send a clear message?
Well, it should, but...
So we're sitting there and we're telling China, hey, we don't support Taiwan independence. But then on the other hand,
Who's
Taiwan's not
that?
A part of China. So Kirby, I forget his whole name, but he speaks a lot at the White House. He stressed, and I quote, "We do not support Taiwan independence." And then he said that Biden's administration has been nothing but clear with the Chinese about where we stand on the issues and the One China policy and our support for a free and open Indo-Pacific. So he's saying a lot right there. He's telling China what they want to hear. Hey, no, we're all about the One China policy. You guys are your own thing. Don't worry about it. But in the same breath, he's saying, free and open Indo-Pacific. So you're supporting Taiwan at the same time.
Well, you would think.
That's what that statement says to me.
Well, that's what it says to me too, but we've already recognized Taiwan as its own country. So,
but now,
why is this
is Taiwan backed by the U.S.? Like, do they have allies? Do they have, all this support? That, hey, if something happens, that these people are going to come in to step in and save the day?
They have Japan and their anime. I have no idea. Probably. I mean, if we recognize a country, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we have their back. Right. Just because we recognize you doesn't mean we're going to protect you.
Well, and that goes back to that dicey territory. I mean, look where we're at with Russia and Ukraine. Hey, no, this isn't our war, but Ukraine, we're going to finance your war and, supply you with everything that you need for it. But we're not going to get involved.
Yeah.
So, yeah, again, I have no other words other than real dicey. I've seen some stuff like that being stationed out there in the Indo-Pacific and kind of getting my eyes open to some of these relationships that we have with other countries and other countries with us, but not other ones. And that same example of the I'm friends with you, but not friends with you, but I'm really friends with you, just not in front of this other person. And it gets real messy real quick.
Yeah. No, and then I think we can now clearly see that. But
yeah,
this country needs to figure out where does it lie? Are we going to protect Taiwan if anything happens, or are we not? And we had a conversation prior to recording that there was a guy that you were watching. You couldn't remember who it was, but he was saying that he doesn't believe that China is going to do something while Pelosi is there, but they may do something a little bit later.
Yeah.
Which makes sense if, China doesn't want to start World War III, but they're also not going to sit there and be bullied by the United States Democratic Party.
Right. And strategically from their point of view, like you said, they're not going to start it by, hey, okay, we have this, third in line to the presidency. We're going to do something right then and there and invite America to our front door. But maybe once they leave at some point, we'll do something with or to Taiwan. We'll kind of keep drifting there, keep whatever they're doing, and kind of force everyone else's hand to decide, hey, do we get involved? If we get involved, does this start something? Do we not? So they're being they're putting a lot of thought into it for sure.
Well, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I saw a quote from Pelosi and her congressional delegation that said that this visit, quote, honors America's unwavering commitment to supporting Taiwan's vibrant democracy, end quote.
Who said that?
This was coming from Pelosi and the congressional delegation that she traveled with down there. Or over there.
She is stating, correct me if I'm wrong, for the party or for the country that we are going to back Taiwan no matter what happens. But then this Kirby guy back home is saying, no, we don't do that.
Yeah, mixed signals for sure.
That's just kind of like how the president would come out and say one thing, and then their party at the White House would go, that's not what he meant.
Mm-hmm.
That's getting annoying.
It is very annoying. And it's got to be frustrating for those people too, right? Like the president, yeah, I said this. This is what I meant to say. Why do people keep changing what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, well, maybe because they don't support you there, bub.
Yeah. But yeah, very, very interesting topics that are, just current events that are happening right now in front of us that are shaping that are shaping our future, our kids' futures, our grandkids, all that stuff. Like, we're seeing it unfold right in front of us. And it's kind of like when you're watching a movie and you're like, oh no, don't do this, or do that. Or you're watching a football game or a fight or whatever, and you're yelling at the TV. It's that same kind of feeling that I get anyways, because it's like, and obviously I don't have the experience or all the answers or anything, but in my mind I'm, oh no, don't do this or do that instead, or gosh, I wish you would wait.
Well, I don't think one person has all the experience that you need to make those decisions, which is why you get a group of people together in order to make a common decision. Something that would make sense to what you would want to move your party a certain way and doing something else. But it's got to be everything that you make, every decision that you make has got to be the best for the country, not just for what your political outcome wants to be. And
right.
I don't think I even said that right. But, it's this back and forth in switching things up, and the whole, the whole Democratic Party isn't behind the whole Democratic Party on certain subjects, but on others they are, and they're going to steamroll things through policies and through the House and the Senate and whatnot, and it's getting frustrating as an American watching this go, and not having any kind of say in the matter, you know?
You feel like your voice is not heard.
No, yeah, I mean...
And then we are going to be the ones, and not necessarily you or me specifically, but we are going to be the ones who have to clean the mess up.
Yeah, and it's going to take longer than 4 years to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, but all we're going to hear is moaning and groaning from the other side on, they took away our things and we were going forward and blah, blah, blah. But we had, at least from what I could tell, the Republican Party, I'm not going to say the president himself, but the Republican Party seemed to have the small guy, the little guy, you and me, in their best interest when they would make certain policies. Not all of them. I'm not saying that all of them were right, but certain policies, they seem to be kind of helping out the little guy. But now it's hang it up, man. The little guy's gone.
Yeah. Well, and we're making decisions that are in the best interest of the little guy. The little guy just doesn't know what's good for him yet. And yeah, the little guy might have to suffer a little bit, but it's not going to last long. Well, it's easy for you to say when you're making hundreds of thousands or millions or whatever. That's easy for you to say.
Yeah. But I'm over here not making a lot of money, and this is really hurting my pocket. And I've got a family to feed.
You got a family to feed. You got a vehicle to fill up every week. You've got bills to pay. I mean, we were just talking the other day about, expanding families and moving homes to bigger homes and all this other stuff, regular life, everyday people things. And, well, people can't afford that.
No.
It's not as easy as it was for people in the past to, oh, hey, I live in a 2-bedroom or a 3-bedroom, and now I've got 4 or 5 kids. Let me just pick up and move.
Yeah.
Well, nope, sorry, we can't afford to move.
Yeah, no, now we can't. And there's certain people who can't afford to get out of certain states.
Yeah.
Because it may cost you $2,000 to get there, but it's going to cost you $10,000 to get out.
Yeah,
so,
it's very no bueno.
No, yeah, you are correct. No bueno at all. But what do we do? I mean, obviously we vote who we want in that's going to make the changes that we want them to make.
Yeah, I think right now, and I'm sure people say this all the time, when it comes to politics and they're not getting their way or whatever, but you have to make your voice heard. You have to get in the sauce, in the weeds, and get smart on these things, get smart on these issues, get smart on even down to your local elected officials.
Yeah, exactly.
And
I mean,
what's on the ticket? Well, what does that mean? What is it? If I vote for this person and they're talking about, like we were just talking the other day about that veteran burn pit bill that they were trying to push through that had so many millions of dollars attached to it. But they had a lot of that money was going elsewhere. It wasn't going to the VA. It wasn't going to help veterans. It was going for other programs, other things that they just kind of slid in there.
Yeah.
And so when it didn't get pushed through because there were a few people that voted against it, people were in uproar about, Republicans or these individuals that voted against it, they hate veterans and they just want them to suffer and, blah, 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 blah. Again, get smart on it. What was in the bill? Yeah. Was it really just, hey, this is just to help support our veterans that were dealing with these particular issues? And yeah, somebody stopped it. Why did they stop it? That's terrible. Or, oh, hold on a second. Oh, there's more to the story. Okay, well, yeah, this was not good at all.
Right. So, I don't know about you, but I've done my best to try to kick my addiction on TikTok. And I've done pretty good. But I went to a other video source, YouTube Shorts, which are just like TikToks, right?
Okay.
But there was a lady on there who said, and this kind of goes with our other previous conversations, is if you're homeless, why don't you just buy a home? Yeah. And somebody came on right after and was, explaining why people can't get homes. Why can't you do this? But that just seems to be the logic on, and I'm going to say it, on the quote-unquote woke people, right? Like, that's their logic. Well, if you can't do something, why can't you? Well, yeah. Maybe because there's more to it.
Yeah. When I was living in Hawaii, if I'm not mistaken, the poverty rate or poverty level, income level or what have you, was about $100,000. If you were making around $100,000 or less, you were considered poor.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how stupid expensive it was, and I'm sure it's even more now. But there were people. There was a news channel, a news story that I had seen, and I'm sure it happens all the time. But this particular one that I saw It was back to school. People were registering their kids for school, and they have to, when they register them, at least at this time, they had to put on the paperwork, do your kids have shoes? Where do you live? Do you live in a tent? Do you live in a house? They wanted all this extra information so they knew what they were getting. What kind of extra support services did they need to provide, all that kind of stuff. And some of these parents out there were registering their kids and they live in tents under bridges. And the initial thought was like, oh gosh, yeah, these are bums. How come they don't get jobs? They had jobs. Both parents were working. But even both parents working, they couldn't afford to purchase a home or to rent an apartment or what have you, anything that was going to be suitable for their family with them and their kids. So, their kids go to school, they come home to their tent, and that's life for them.
That's sad to hear, because they probably had a nice place prior to that tent. They probably had a home with running water and all this stuff, and then all of a sudden certain situations happen and now they can't afford it. And we shouldn't be proud of that. We should stop whatever we're doing in the world, right? We need to center back and focus on our country. We need to get us back.
Yeah. I'm a proponent of, we need to help others. We see those commercials on TV. You can help another country. You can donate money that goes towards food or buys them a goat, buys them school supplies, whatever. Let's send millions to other countries to help them out of their situations, whatever. But what are we doing here at home to take care of our people as well?
Yeah.
Not saying leave the other people, that sucks that you're in that situation, but you're screwed. But at the same time, we need to take care of our own. We can't just focus and try to, we're going to be popular if let's go help Africa. That's a popular thing to do, and that'll get us some votes. Let's go help Mexico. Let's go help, Italy, whoever.
Yeah.
What about here at home? Let's clean up the streets. Let's fix the potholes. Let's get rid of these homeless camps and not just get rid of them, kick the can down the road. You're like, we'll just clean the tents up and we still have homeless people. They just got to relocate. But what about shelters? Are there shelters available? Do we need shelters? Do we have transition homes? Do we have programs that help them get off of or get back on their feet? It's stuff that people like you and me, need to be looking at. Our politicians need to be looking at. People that we vote for, we need to make sure that they're looking at these kinds of things to better our communities.
Yep. Better the people that are around us so we can better the world.
Yep. JT 2024, affiliate link below.
Yeah, I'm not running. No, that's all Drew. Drew is all the politician. So
no, not at all.
Unless you want a good show on stage, I can give you a great show on stage.
Oh, stand up?
No, it involves tassels.
Stand up? But yeah, no, I feel like we could. I feel like we could talk about this stuff all day.
Yeah, no, and I was just about to. I'm agreeing with you. I think we need to fix here first. Let's whatever we need to do. But speaking of fixing potholes, the budget for our area went up to fix the roadways, and I don't know about you, but it doesn't seem like it's going that way. There's a lot of roads out here that are just terrible, and they just patch them.
Yeah, we patch them, or maybe once a decade or two, they'll actually redo them. However, it's always going to be a Band-Aid, because one of the things that our area lacks is the proper drainage systems.
Yes.
So when that water just collects on the roads, and then you get these big semis coming through all the time, and regular wear and tear, that's not good.
No, it's not good. And in the downtown area, underneath the bridges, there's no drainage system there. And a few years ago, in fact, when I first got here, there was a call for anybody who has a 4-wheel drive vehicle, please come out to the town and help pull these cars out underneath the bridges. At that time, I didn't have a 4-wheel drive vehicle. I now have a 4-wheel drive vehicle, and am waiting for that call, because that will be the number one place I will be is in downtown. Well, we had a tornado come through in, was it 2019?
Yeah, 2019.
And I was out there. I went to the communications post and said, hey, where do you need me? And those guys, as great as they were, they said, we have too many volunteers. Put your name and number on this. We'll give you a shout. And I said, okay. So I put my name and my number down, and I went home and I waited, and they didn't need me. They didn't call me, but I felt like I was doing nothing, and it just really just cringed inside.
I need you to do more.
Yeah. So, I'm not going to make that mistake again. I'm not going to wait. I'm just going to, if I see a group of people, I'm going to pull over, stop, and I'm just going to help out. That's something that I can do.
And now you're set up to make and receive ham transmissions.
That is true.
Hopefully, I just remembered I didn't turn my radio on, but hopefully you will be ahead of the curve next time.
I can. I would love to be, but we still got to get through that training.
That's true. Yeah, we sure do. The Aries or Aces.
Yeah. So, but, well, hey, man, it was a good show. Thanks for coming on.
Absolutely. Anytime.
I appreciate you. So, that'll be it for now.
All right.
As always, we'd like to say thank you for stopping by and listening to the podcast.
Yeah, we realized that you could have been doing anything way more productive, but you chose to waste your time with us.
We look forward to talking about absolutely nothing with you next time.
If you have any questions or topics you'd like us to cover, please email us at
jtandrewshow@gmail.com or visit our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/jtdrewshow.